Welcome back, everyone. I'm Julian Pastry Time Co, and joining me for our next series is once again Aiden Zyrene Moon. Thanks for coming back.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome.
But also, today is a very special day, Pastry.
Is
you know
it?
what day it is?
Day 2 of the NALCS Spring 2017?
Exactly. But
Hey.
secondly, it's also my third year at Riot today.
Really?
Exactly.
Happy third day at Riot, Zyrene.
Third day.
Well,
No, third year at Riot.
Third day. Well, in this match, the new players for Immortals will go up against Echo Fox, who look to recover from their 2-0 loss against Phoenix 1 yesterday.
Exactly. And even though it was an 0-2 series, that was a loss for Phoenix or for Echo Fox. It was mostly due to team fighting errors. And Echo Fox, they did show promise though in the top half of the map. All right. You know what? 3 years and it doesn't get any easier. But yes, both games, Echo Fox had an aggressive early start and they maintained a gold lead throughout the first 20 minutes, which is actually a big positive for Echo Fox, considering they were a 10th place team with a plethora of issues last split. And a large part of how Echo Fox got those leads yesterday can be attributed to Acadian. The early pressure that he brought on that rookie with the first bloods in both games, absolutely crucial performance from Acadian. And you can see in that bottom left corner, Echo Fox from negative 2,000 gold at 20 minutes to a positive 1,000 already, and that is really good for this team, and things are looking up.
It is, and Acadian even came into the match himself confident he could outperform his opponent, Honori. Well, now he's got to go against Immortals' recent jungle acquisition, Dardoch, who was one of the standout performers in both the spring and the summer split.
Yeah, and Dardoch, he was certainly a power pickup for the Immortals, but the question is, can he excel on this new roster? And after a year of regular season successes and playoff failures for Immortals, they have replaced every member on their roster save for Pobelter in the mid lane. And of course, this new roster, it's stacked with talent, but we have seen time and time again that having talent is only one piece of the puzzle in becoming a top team. Can they synergize?
Well, before we jump into the game, Dardoch spoke with us earlier about how cohesion will play a role in Immortals' success.
Actually, me, Ole, and Flame all kind of been through the same thing with like arguing with teammates and like not having a good team environment and stuff like that. So it was really easy to relate to them really early on. So like Ole came to me and he was like, yo, I used to argue with my jungler a lot on the old team. I don't want that to happen again, because I was like really tilted one day and I was just like, yeah, I don't like arguing either. And then Flame, I mean, I just heard a lot of stuff about Flame, but he's just kind of like the older brother. So I just kind of follow his lead.
Always fun to hear from Dardoch. We'll see exactly how the new team works, because again, a lot of fresh faces here, pretty much rebuilt around Pobelter, so there will be some changes there. But as we lock and load for the series, let's take a look at the starting lineups. To kick things off on the blue side, we do have Echo Fox. We saw them yesterday. We'll see how they do again in the top lane. It's Looper, rookie jungler Acadian, mid laner Froggen, bot Keith, support Gate, and coach Tim Cairo.
And on the red side, we've got Immortals. In the top lane, it's the legendary Season 2 and 3 player Flame. In the jungle, it's rookie of the split from Spring, Dardoch. In mid lane, it's Pobelter, the only returning member. In the bot lane, it's Cody's son, the rookie. And in support, LMS All-Stars Ole and coach Hermes, formerly from NRG.
And again, so many changes in the NALCS this season. It will be fun to track kind of how these teams develop throughout the split. But we did see Echo Fox yesterday. Probably good to touch on Immortals now, because like we said, Pobelter is the only remaining member on this team. And for me, he kind of took a backseat in Immortals last year because he had so many good players around him. He did what he needed to do. Now he's required to step up, and we'll see if Pobelter can kind of rise to that occasion as well.
Yeah, and what Freak was telling me, he had a conversation with their performance coach, Robert Yip, and he was saying Pobelter did have to take that backseat last year, but now he's kind of a godsend because he has to step up with these rookies, and also the fact that he's a veteran player here. And he has stepped up. So we've yet to see that on the stage, of course. But the rumor so far, and what I've been hearing, is that Pobelter is stepping up. And he hasn't been that carry mid lane before. But is this his split?
And I think for me, the thing that's crucial for a lot of these mid laners, especially the ones that have been around for a little while longer, Bjergsen's a good example of this. We've heard Jensen talk about it as well coming into this year. It's not just your play that has to step up. If you need to be more of a carry for your team, your leadership and your shot calling also needs to come with it. Hai is a player now back into the LCS. A lot on the merits due to his shot calling and knowledge of the game, and mid laners are starting to have to take a more intelligent role as well, not just a strong mechanical one in the lane.
Yeah, mid laners, they can kind of be like the quarterback sometimes. You have to take the lay of the land, command people around, figure out where you want to make that play. And if Pobelter can fit that role for this team, that would be really good for them. But they also have Dardoch, who he was saying that he takes kind of a backseat role sometimes, which is very unusual considering he was such a strong personality back on Team Liquid, loved to command the Rift and loved to have early game pressure. It'd be hard for him to kind of step away from that role. But I do think that this will be a team that eventually becomes a joint shot calling unit where everybody just wants to help out and contribute information. And I think the person that is going to have the hardest time with that is the bot lane with Cody Sun.
Yeah, there's going to have to be some stuff happening there as far as getting the synergy together. Like we've said, it is a new team. Dardoch himself just talked about team cohesion will take a while to build, but it is very important to that team. I think it's also important to note team cohesion on the other side of the Rift today with their opponents, because Echo Fox, that was really our one big criticism. We've highlighted already, but they couldn't quite get it together as a team, and that is also a team that's kind of come together fairly new. Echo Fox will start strong with this new roster, and we've seen the upgrades that they've made in different slots already have an effect, but who's the leader on that team? Frog and the veteran player, is it him? Is it Arcadian that has such a command in the early presence from the jungle that needs to step up? Like, someone here on this team needs to be making more shots. And much like Immortals, like Echo Fox will need to find that leader as well.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said about communication on a team and everybody contributing. It's very easy to just play the game, but it's hard to play the game and talk at the same time and give all the information that is relevant in those moments, calling flashes in the middle of team fights, calling where the Orianna ball is, right? They lost team fights, and that was the thing for Echo Fox. They were winning the game for 20 minutes in game 2, and then they lost it in 4 against Phoenix 1. That is insane, considering they were ahead the entire time. We had seen the difference, the goal difference at 20 just a moment ago, where Echo Fox were doing well. They had the early pressure, but they aren't able to transition that and win team fights and win the game.
Yeah, it really felt like it did manifest in their play as well. Early teleport's also a question for me. This is a team that will not just struggle to get together early because they're fairly new together, but having a mixed language top lane in particular, Looper, just still getting that synergy together. We saw marked improvements from just game to game yesterday, but again, this is something that I said it yesterday. This will take time for Echo Fox. It's not going to take 1-2 weeks and then they're all together. But if they can pick it up towards the middle of the split, they'll ride momentum into the back half.
Yeah, I'm waiting for them to find a strategy that works for them and then diversifying from there. So find what works first and then start diversifying your playbook from there. But I do want to talk about it because you talked about the Echo Fox top laner Looper. It's kind of the elephant in the room. So we had to address it. It's Looper versus Flame. It's a Season 4 world champion versus possibly the best carry top laner back in Season 2. Fighting against each other in the North American LCS. So having help from their teammates might be a little bit harder with language barriers, but what is going to happen in this top lane with these two titans against each other?
Hey, you talk about titans, you ready for tank v tank? That's probably what we're going to get in Champs League as we are into draft for game number 1. First, 2 bans actually for Echo Fox are out with Zyra and Syndra, the first 2 taken away in phase 1 of the draft. Don't forget, we have altered Champs League pretty significantly. Camille and LeBlanc on the Immortal side of their choices. So we've seen a lot of this. Target bans on the blue side, more generic bans on the red side. That's kind of a holdover from last year when the draft was only 6 bans, but we'll talk about the changes as we move through the phases.
And see what happens here, because usually red side will ban LeBlanc, Camille, and Rengar as the third one if Immortals want to leave Rengar up because they think that Echo Fox passed that opportunity yesterday and take that gamble. It is a best of 3, but I do think Acadian, he loves Rengar, so you do have to ban it, and it is pretty standard on red side not to risk any of these 3 champions falling to the blue side first pick.
And that's exactly what they ban away. So standard but smart stuff from Immortals. Rise was the last ban from Echo Fox. So 2 mid laners and a support band on their side. And the first pick, probably a support. We've seen Alex Ich already play mid Malzahar today. So there is some flexibility, but Mal's actually a fairly safe blind pick champion.
Yeah, especially since he's flexible, like you said. Could go mid, could go support. But usually you won't pick up your support too early on unless it's the Malzahar or the Zyra. So you can maybe expect Immortals to wait for that second ban phase to come through, and then what is left for them? Because Misfortune would be the counter, and yep, they're going to take it there. So Misfortune is the one that I was thinking about. Like, Misfortune is really good into Zyra, really good into Malzahar, especially since her passive also counts as 2 hits on Voidlings. So if her and the AD carry both hit Voidlings, it instantly dies.
And you can see Ashe taken there by Immortals as the AD carry to kind of secure that bottom lane. We've seen a lot of Ashe. She seems to be the #1 priority AD carry pick. Varus is pretty close there though, so they'll take that on the Echo Fox side along with Maokai. Fiora's actually locked in very early for Flame, so he will take a carry into the tank matchup, which is nice to see. But before we get to that, we are going to get a few more bans. And this is the big change for all these teams. Immortals, this is the first time we've seen them on stage. How do they react to this next stage of the draft? Because it's very different instead of just picking your champions, kind of having to go through a few more bans and potentially have things taken away from you.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll start pinching the jungle or the mid lane here, because the jungle would be the one you would think, especially since you already have Rengar off the table and you get first pick as well as the red side after the second phase. So you could possibly lock in a Kha'Zix here if you leave it up for yourself, a very high tier jungler. But if you start banning them back and forth, Lee Sin, get that off the table as well. And then you just go down the tier list and you force Acadian, who was the carry threat, who was the person who got first blood in both of Echo Fox's games yesterday, onto something that may not have as much pressure.
And right on the money, Zyrene. Rek'Sai is the ban for Immortals. It was Arcadian's champion 2 times in a row for some strong early game there. Elise actually banned as well. Means that Echo Fox are also taking away junglers. This could potentially find them in a very tricky spot, depending on how the bans work out, because like you said, Immortals will get first pick out of this second ban phase.
Yeah, and a lot of people like to play Kha'Zix into Lee Sin and think it's a very good matchup here, so Immortals may just omit banning the Kha'Zix, might not ban anything here, and say if we pick Kha'Zix, you pick Lee Sin, we have a good matchup. If you ban one of them, we just pick the other one, so you'd have to have a counter up for it.
They do leave it open as well with Anivia, a very narrow ban, but makes sense against Froggen, who even showed the Anivia yesterday in their second game. We'll see what Echo Fox decide to do there. Do they continue taking away junglers and potentially fall into the trap? They might here actually, as Lee Sin is banned away from Echo Fox, and Immortals seems very straightforward to just pick up Kha'Zix now.
Yeah, even though Dardoch very clean Lee Sin, saying he's the best non-import Lee Sin, and yeah, there it goes. Kha'Zix picked up so quickly.
He's an aggressive player. We've seen him play Udyr in times gone by in the NALCS. Kha'Zix is a champion that seems to fit his natural tendencies as a player. And like you already said, it's actually a stroke of genius in the draft here. Echo Fox, I feel like they might have baited themselves here, because Arcadian's going to have to dig very deep and find a different jungle champion, because all up, there's what, 5 junglers taken away?
Yeah, Olaf, Graves, Ivern, Hecarim is kind of like the next tier down, and yep, they're going to pick up the Graves.
Well, makes sense though. We saw Moon Planet already today. And what is the next pick here from Echo Fox? Again, the picks do work differently here. Froggen's going to have to blind pick his mid lane. He'll take Twisted Fate, which is very safe, and I think will maybe patch up some of the teamwork inconsistencies we saw from Echo Fox yesterday. Froggen is a player that does like to get ahead and carry the game, but instead of just being a big team fighting champion and carrying that way, he's maybe trying to influence other lanes, which is kind of a switch I like.
Exactly. Yesterday, he ended up getting the assistance early on where they had killed Ryu twice in the mid lane, and then he wasn't able to transition that on LeBlanc into anywhere else on the map. Now he has Twisted Fate, so he'll be able to roam a little bit better with the ultimate if he does get attention here. But the gank assistance, it's mostly coming from the lanes. It's not coming from the jungle. Acadian can play the Graves because everyone else on the team has a CC to help him out.
Yeah, and Corky's actually the last pick there for Povelto, who's seen a lot of play today in particular. Didn't see him at all yesterday, if I recall correctly, but Povelto's going to take fairly standard mid laner in up against the Twisted Fate. Does have the cleanse as well, which is also standard in. Kind of looking through the draft, I kind of like what Immortals did. I think Echo Fox also ended up with a reasonable composition, but just the way the jungle picks worked out in particular, it feels like Dardoch got a very strong, perhaps A-tier jungler, and Arcadian kind of had to fall all the way down to Graves, which I imagine is a couple tiers below.
Yeah, and the fact that he doesn't have CC, it comes from the laners, but his 1v1 is okay, but Kha'Zix still have to give him the leg up there and put him in that A-tier, like you said. So what's going to happen in the jungle here, and how are they going to influence the top lane? Because you look at the composition that Immortals have, I mean, it almost looks like Immortals of old, right? You have a bottom lane that's like going to play a little bit safe, the MF, a little bit of a far cry from what you would see with like Soraka from Adrian, but they have a carry top laner for Flame, and then they have Dardoch on Kha'Zix, very aggressive jungle here, so the top half of the map looks quite strong for Immortals in the pick phase.
And you said it already, a carry top laner for Flame. We were wondering, was it going to be Maokai, Nautilus, Poppy, 1v1 on the top side? Looper will take the team fighting pick for himself and take the tank, but Flame actually got Fiora picked nice and early for him, and this is exactly what you want to see from a player like Flame. It'll take a while to get going, but if Dardoch especially can be up there and helping, Flame can potentially take over a 1v1 or a 1v2, or, you know, it just keeps snowballing if Fiora gets stronger.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's what you want to see from Flame's NALCS debut. You want to see this guy on a carry top laner. You want to see him go back to the days where he was the Season 2 carry, the Season 3 early on carry, and he hasn't been that way in a good while now because of the fact that he's been splitting time and has been a substitute on some rosters for the past 2 years. Last time a lot of people actually saw him was when he was on LGD at Worlds, previously Season 5.
Long while ago now, but Immortals will make their debut in 2017 here in the LCS, and looks like Echo Fox actually trying to pick someone off. Ole with a nice Make it rain. He's going to protect himself. There's a little bit of harass here and there, but again, I think we saw this yesterday from Echo Fox as well. Just moving through level 1, getting some wards down. Immortals will respond correctly on the left side of the map towards this blue buff area. But shouldn't be any pickoffs here. Another ward kill. Froggen didn't get that one. Oh, he did! He's so good at getting CS.
He's a CS master. Of course, yesterday that was an issue. He did get 2 ganks early, and then he wasn't able to get a CS lead with the advantage he had, and then it fizzled out. So basically, Echo Fox, there's a lot of criticism about their teamwork after yesterday, and also some criticism coming in for Keith. So Keith with Gate up against Cody Sun and Ole. This is kind of what people would consider the weaker parts of these two teams in the bottom side of the map. Is that who's going to come out on top here? Because these are, even by the standards that Mark Z was using with his tier list that he was showing earlier, these are bottom tier AD carries, possibly bot lane. So who gets the advantage here, and how are they able to play around these bottom lanes?
Yeah, I think for two fresh teams, as far as individual talent goes, it actually stacks up quite well, matchup for matchup. So this should be a good test for both these teams to kind of see how they're going and take their temperature. But right now in the bottom lane, just some trading back and forth here. Ole's trying to get in shots where he can, but Cody Sun's going to push that in. They'll take down the Voidlings, and Immortals have the very early lead. It's slight, but it is something here, 2v2.
And I like the fact that they have the misfortune here as the counter just constantly pokes down. And since she had popped up at Worlds earlier last year, she's been the counter to the Zyra and also the Malzahar, not just because of the passive counting as 2 shots against pets, but the fact that her Make It Rain and Thunderlords just gives her money off of the Spell Thief's Edge, and also the fact that it's just so much poke and so much damage to have to deal with. And you can see this Malzahar doesn't really get to play League of Legends at all. He has to play back. He can't do anything in this lane for a long while.
Actually just hit level 2, and the harass keeps coming there from the Misfortune. Looks like Gate's going to move up and maybe feign some aggression, but it's not coming here. He's Arcadian, still sticking to his plan on this top half of the map. He's farmed up the left side. Scott O'Cribe is going to try and maybe do something here in the top lane. Flame's looking all right for now, but it is going to be a gank attempt. Arcadian, can he get another first blood?
Right before level 3 comes through, and there you go. Flame does have the level 3.
Oh, he knows about it. Good report's going to take him out, but he's still actually taking damage. Splashes out of the way, but Arcadian wants it again. Flame not going to take enough damage, but does have to burn the summoner.
Yeah, and he may have to burn the teleport to get back into lane unless he wants it to shove a little bit. But he has to make sure that Graves is not hanging around. Once you blow your flash like that and you just get repeat ganked, it feels awful, and then the carry potential is pretty much gone. So Flame, you'll have to push up, possibly get a ward quite quickly, and he got Cull. So yeah, it's a fairly safe lane, and you'll try to farm it out and hit a 2-item spike a little bit sooner. And you can see Acadian's actually still hanging out near top. He knows that he wants to get a ward, knows that he hasn't warded yet.
And he's done this already before. Flame always going to put it down now. This could be a real disaster. Now Flame going to keep taking that damage. He finally wards in with the red buff. Who's going to slow Flame down? Looper, flash twisted advance, but a great repose going to keep Flame out of it for a little while longer. But it doesn't matter. Arcadian, another first blood.
3 in a row for Acadian. This Graves double gank the top lane. This is going to be a frozen lane here for Looper. Looper, this is going to be awful for Flame on the other side, and this is the matchup that he wanted to tilt, the strong top side of the map for both of these teams, whereas Dardoch spent his time on the bottom side, and it's quite hard to gank that bottom side when they're under turret. You don't have gank assistance from your lanes that early on.
And Fiora, one of those champions that is very strong in a 1v1, but takes a while to scale up here. That's going to keep moving backwards as Flame continues to get picked on. And Arcadian, I love it. He said yesterday he wanted to play aggressive. A great revisit there. As you can see, the Immortals fans are clearly on their side, but the first kill's in the hands of Echo Fox.
Acadian's a big boon for Echo Fox because they used to have a really abysmal early game, and now that seems to be just not a problem anymore. Acadian has gotten the first blood, he's gotten his team off the ground, he's gotten either Looper or Froggen off the ground in every game, and now, what are they going to do with it? What did they do with it? Where did they go from there?
And that is the big question. We'll have to track it as the game continues on, but right now, Pobelta sitting pretty in the mid lane, chunked out Froggen quite nicely, and does have a decent CS lead here as well. So Froggen's actually going to recall, does not have teleport. Can't easily get back to the lane, and Keith also taking a harass here in the bottom lane. Ole getting low on mana, but is going to force Keith back, and a 10 CS leader now counting for Cody Sun here with the new Immortals bottom lane. Is a good sign here for Immortals too. I think the bottom lane was the part was very untested.
Yeah, it was a very good pickup there with the misfortune to counter, and like you said, untested. IM Gyeonggi, Cody Sun, and Ole did not perform very well at all, and there was a ton of criticism afterwards. So, hey, this bottom lane is going to be a big liability in the NALCS. But right now, they have a good matchup for themselves, and they got the counter pick, so they're actually doing quite well.
See the force back from Froggen. Is walking back now with that Catalyst, so a bit more sustained in the lane. Likely a Rod of Ages here for TF, which I think makes sense generally and given the matchup. Pobelter, though, he'll get a slightly better back. We'll see what he collects on his trip back to the shop. As Arcadian going to take another Scuttle Crab here again. You have to worry that Flame is going to continue getting picked on here in the 1v1. Flame has got himself a control ward to try and get some extra vision down, but you have to think that once again Arcadian's attention is going to be to his 2 solo laners.
And with no flash in the top lane, it's another easy gank if Fiora wants to go forward at all. But they don't know where his wards are just yet. And they know that he warded. Now they know that the Fiora warded in the Tri-Brush. And Keith versus Cody.
It's an easy win for Varus, actually. Good little trade there. So Cody's son have to play back a little bit. Does have a shopping advantage, though. BF Sword versus Pickaxe is a nice initial pickup. And Keith, even with the refillable, kind of indicates that maybe he's feeling quite a lot of pressure here in the 2v2 lane. Flame again gets out from under Looper, as he was potentially worried about Arcadian visiting again. And there's an early sheen for Pobelter, so he's going to be having a fantastic time in this mid lane.
We'd actually seen multiple Quirky builds today already. We had seen a Gunblade versus a Trinity Force. And both of them actually fared quite well, if I remember correctly. Both of them actually doing all right. Of course, Puhi not getting the victory on his, but Pobelter looks like he's going for the Trinity Force build. May go for one later on in terms of the Gunblade or the Rapid Fire Cannon like we had seen. But it's a good matchup for him. And the fact that he has Cleanse makes it so that it's hard to gank him as well. Yeah. Very slippery Corki.
Just so rough for TF to do anything 1v1 versus that summoner spell. As it looks like Keith and Gate have actually got themselves a little advantage. And Arcadian's coming to visit over the top. Almost gets his way over the bullets, but just going to take the Grum for himself instead. While he's getting zoned here as Cody's son's actually forced back. Also picks himself up a refill. A nice and efficient healing there for both the AD carries, but this tower's taking quite a lot of damage here with 3 people now starting to hit it. An extra marksman from the jungle as well. Could actually see a very early turret taken, despite the advantage Immortals got 2v2. That's first turret to Echo Fox.
They abused the back timer there when Cody's son 1v1 Keith. Keith was level 5, Cody's son was level 4, and then it ended up eventually manifesting it there by having a bad back timing for Cody's son. Back skip, boots, a refillable, and a ward. And then that's where Arcadian shows up. The Graves just decimates turrets. The closer he is, the more damage he's going to do to them, and he just chunks it out.
Early Warrior finish for Arcadian now as well, as Dardock's also working on a similar enchantment. So we are going to see that AD damage swiftly coming out of the 2 jungle picks here, which is kind of par for the course we've seen for a lot of the more assassiny or carry-oriented junglers. You see Dardock mostly just been farming around. He's actually got a huge CS lead from the jungle. Again, Kobe's pointed this out. It's a little disingenuous when you look at jungle CS in particular, but you can see that Dardock's just been kind of hunting around these lands, seeing if you can find anything, but mostly sticking to the farm.
Exactly, going for Raptors over and over again and stuff like that definitely bolsters your CS count. But Flame in the top lane, now they have Keith and Gate in the top lane. The wave is shoving in. Flame cannot contest this. This may be another turret that goes down, and you can see the positioning of where Ole and Cody-san are. Not in position to answer with a bottom turret here, and Froggen has his ultimate, so even if that's threatened, he'll be able to see, check it out. Big tempo play for Echo Fox.
Beautiful rotation from Echo Fox, in fact. They'll take themselves another turret. This is the kind of play we did see from Echo Fox last year as far as the rotations go. It does seem like the early game is still strong, but again, we're going to keep looking at how they convert. In the meantime, Immortals do need to actually come here and answer this, because this turret might fall as well. In fact, Froggen wants it. Flame, he's been snared up. They're going to keep going in. Repulsive Demon, a gold gun. In onto Flame. Damages through, and Looper picks up a kill. Arcadian is going to jack Pobelter through the kill. Easy 1v1. Ole cannot save him.
That's another turret, too. That's a tier 2 turret down. Echo Fox are going to have 3 turrets at 9 minutes.
And we want to talk about early game leads. 4,000 gold in under 10 minutes is more than almost any team could ever ask for.
Echo Fox in this early game, Arcadian is just a monster. He knows where to be on the map. And I was noticing it yesterday that Echo Fox's macro game is actually quite good when they have an advantage. They know how to rotate between turrets, but it's the team fighting. The skirmishes seem to be no problem there. Flame doesn't have enough riposts for all the CC that was coming through. And then Pobelter, really good from Arcadian there. He uses the R-E combo that cancels out the knockback from his own collateral damage, so he gets to true grit forward. Hold on.
Oh, Pobelter wants in, but that was Gate. Pobelter immediately wants out.
Oh, yeah. Gate was too busy casting all the abilities, didn't get the R off there, so didn't have the way to lock down Pobelter and actually get a counter kill.
But if Pobelter did want to make a play with the package, he's kind of used it already, trying to get a 1v1 kill, but Gate in the right position to try and force that off. And we talk about Twisted Fate all the time, wanting that first successful roam. Froggen, great rotation up to the top lane after Echo Fox applied good pressure to that position.
And right here, you can see top lane Immortals, they're heading up there right now. But this is really, really awful if they get caught here because
Get in.
Ole's in, but there's the TP from way behind.
I have to see Ole's out. He flashes for it. Dardoch now getting exhausted and will be chased back in.
Looper, though, they're buying time for Looper to come through. Cody Sun's taking so much Voidling damage here. Looper TP'd way down the lane because they were able to place tier 2 down there. There's
Arrow
Nero.
finds Keeper. Belta into the flank as well. Immortals looking for the team fight. Looper trying to protect them, but it might not be enough. Flame TP'd in early.
Oh, he's
He's
in.
going to go, but they're going to find Flame. Riposte is there. Exhaust is down as well. And Looper taking damage as Flame has to try and get himself out. Could apply the last mark, but doesn't want it as Ole
Voidling
looks to be the
for
next
Sapling.
target. Sapling slows him down. Chilling Smite as well. And there's another kill. Arcadian.
Arcadian 3-0-0 already. And they are getting so much off of that. That's a play that Immortals tried to counter. They were saying, we're going to bait the Malzahar to come forward. And then all of a sudden, the TP from behind. Flame TP's into the middle of it, but they don't have a tank line. That's a problem with this composition and running carry top laners right now, is usually you'll want to have something like a Rek'Sai in the jungle, because now it's just a squishy composition across the board. You won't see a tank item on this team for a good while from anybody. We're talking fourth, third item for some.
And advantages keep compiling here for Echo Fox, still holding their leaders. Will watch this again. Gate does start it off here.
Looper way earlier on the teleport too, and then Flame has to do it reactively. Everybody's kind of up against the wall here, and Dardoch doesn't have a low enough target to actually go in on. They thought it was just Gate and Keith, and then Acadian comes out of nowhere. Sure, they land the arrow. It's a lot of damage in return, but great collateral damage from Acadian to get 3 members low, and then Looper hits the W on. Cody Sun flashes away, gets slowed down, but then it's really Ole that they want there. There goes the sapling. Goal gets him there, slows him down, and that's enough.
I mean, see what, this guy's a world champion. Even the little things. That's excellent presence of mind from Looper. He slowed Cody Sun with his Q, which I missed earlier, and through the sapling, kind of fighting someone else. So really smart stuff from Looper, whose teleport timing was much crisper then.
Looper has really good target selection from what I was seeing yesterday as well. And the thing is he may get a little overwhelmed sometimes because there was a fight where he didn't use a Nautilus ultimate or a flash, probably because he was going after the right target. It was just a little bit too far for him.
Well, Acadian is going to compound the advantages for Echo Fox, looking to take down the Ocean Drake. One more auto does it. He's going to pop himself over the wall to safety, and it's starting to look real good for a team that had another good early game but couldn't quite close it out. We'll see if Echo Fox can, but I think the way they've picked themselves into a comp, pretty straightforward team fight with the Maokai helping, and I love the TF pick here because it forces so many more skirmishes, which is probably what they want to be doing.
Exactly. You have skirmishes, but you also have the potential to 1-3-1 with this composition, and it looks like the Lichbane may be in Froggen's future here when he has the Runic Echoes at the moment, or sorry, the Aether Wisp. The Ether Wisp. I was like, I know, I call it Ether. AE makes that sound for me. It's Aegis of Legion and all that. You know.
I know. It's okay.
Don't worry. We got this.
Well, it looks like a siege coming in for Echo Fox. Damage on the mid tower was actually significant. Cody Sun's going to have to clear this out quickly, but Echo Fox don't overcommit people in the mid lane trying to do extra damage. They're happy kind of just in this 1-3-1 pattern you described. And we saw this yesterday from them as well. Froggen does love to split, which he loves to continually get resources for himself. And he's picked another good champion for it. I can't quite remember which teleport champion he had yesterday, but he was doing the same thing. And I think this is a strategy we've seen from them last year. We'll continue to see from it again. And as always, it will be execution that's important.
Yeah, he had LeBlanc and a Nivea yesterday. So, right now,
Teleport and Nivea, that's what it was.
Yeah. But everybody has CC. And that's the thing, is the kills are on Acadian. So everybody brings CC. So Graves went behind. It's like, what does he offer to a team? Oh, he's supposed to offer damage. If he doesn't have damage, then he's useless. Well, now that he's ahead, he does so much damage. He blows people up. We saw him do so much damage to 3 members with a collateral damage. And now everybody has CC to kind of help him out. So now that he's ahead, Acadian, this could be his game to take over. Sure, he's got Froggen, and sure, he's got Looper on his team. But this could be this Graves jungle's time to shine.
And on the other side, Flame is still scaling up as well. I mean, Pobelter hasn't finished that Trinity Force yet either, and a first major item's also on the way for both AD carries, in fact. So Immortals just don't have the firepower right now. It's so early into the game, still at 15 minutes, and Echo Fox have grown such a significant lead. They will have to play defensively for a little while, kind of collect themselves and try and force a good 5v5, which, if nothing else, seems to be where Echo Fox may have some struggles. Immortals, they might not have the comp for it, but if they find the opportunity and can outplay, it may not matter.
Yeah, Echo Fox have a lot of pick, but they also have the ability to team fight a little bit better than Immortals at the moment, especially since they have the gold advantage. But we have seen what, a misfortune can do to a team fight as a support with Smoothie the other day.
Pushing still continues. Another Ocean Drake on the way, but will be a number of minutes before then. Trinity Force done for Pobelta though, so excellent sign there. He'll have a significant boost in power now that he's completed that first item, and you can see Ash just getting a bit of additional CS. Cody's son happy to be anchored here to this lane and collect the safe farm. We've got Pobelta instead in the top lane. Actually, 1v1 versus Froggen, who can, of course, get around the map with his ultimate, but kind of interesting to see how Immortals react to a lot of this pressure here. And Echo Fox, because of their advantage earlier, do have the lead in tempo.
Exactly, and they have this mid turret. It's about to go down. It's a tier 1. It's fairly close, and now they have a wave to go take it right now, and they have Maokai on the side, and a nice dodge.
Easy dodge from Arcadian by the looks of things, and smart play from Immortals to try and capitalize with a pick there. They knew that Echo Fox were pushing in, but Arcadian gets out of the way. He's actually pretty tanky anyway,
yeah.
So maybe he wasn't the best target, even if they did hit him, and that's just going to be an easy turret take now, you have to think.
Yeah, and this Graves, I was talking about tier lists during Champions Select, and that's the really cool thing about the 10 bans is everybody's 4th or 5th best champion in their role is a little bit different. We've seen like Rumble Jungle in the LPL, we've seen it in LCK, we've seen Graves, we've seen Ivern. So when people ban out the S and the A tier, what happens? People start going down that list and they start saying, well, Graves is my best. I used to play this all the time in solo queue. And then you see somebody like Huhi. He's like, I still play Aurelion Sol, man. It's like, you actually feel really great as a player because you're like, I'm not convincing my team to let me play this champion I love. I'm banned, and now I have to go play this champion that I'm really good at. So that's the really cool thing about these bans is everybody, when you start getting down to the nitty gritty and deep in their pools, what does everybody else have that isn't exactly meta, but they're really good at and have the mastery?
And that's Arcadian's decision making seems to be the thing that's leading Echo Fox through this early part of the game. You can see Froggen though, almost on the way for Lich Bane. He'll be back down to a side lane, looks like. He's heading towards that bottom lane with Flame, who's just trying to get as much farm as he can. We know Fiora does take a while to scale up. He's kind of got bits and pieces of those early items that he would want. Look for 2, probably even 3 items until Fiora really gets going. Whereas Looper right now, very effective. And when he completes that Spirit Visage, even more so.
Yeah, Flame's kind of laying low, making sure that nothing happens to him because he was just targeted over and over again in the first 9 minutes of the game. His lane was just dominated and then pushed 2 turrets down. So he's been kind of split pushing and farming and finding whatever CS he can here and there. Luckily, his call for him has already gone off and he's gotten that bonus gold. So he's a little bit closer, but he's still very far away. He's 1,500 gold behind the Maokai at the moment. So he'll need, like you said, 2-3 items before he starts doing some real true damage.
Well, you can see Echo Fox just happy to play safe here and get some vision down towards this right-hand side of the map. We have a Drake coming up. Ooh, good ulti on the Pobelta. Gonna force that Clan's gold card lands, but he's already Valkyried out of the way. Pobelta did take a nice chunk of poke damage though, so blue buff looking to go over to Echo Fox. Froggen swoops in, gonna pick that up, and now Gade wants to try and ult him down. There's the flash on, he's under turret. Pobelta might be able to get away. Burnsy don't flash, but Froggen follows in. Great coverage there from Ole, but Arcadian snaps him on the other side as Dardock leaps in. That's a flash out from Froggen. As Flames down as well. Looper insta-TPs through as well, and Echo Fox now sieging bottom lane.
And Arcadian, man, this Graves is just working out so well for him. But here's the thing, they're sieging bot. Not really, they're gonna start going between bottom and mid, and the mid has the wave pushed. Keith is continuing to push this one up. They could possibly make a pick here too if Cody's son is too far forward on this Ashe because he doesn't have any front line on this composition. So it's so hard to actually play around this. So they'll start bouncing between the 2 lanes, get the Drake, and then go back to doing that.
So much space opened up now, and Froggen even has the ultimate. If another fight were to start, Echo Fox just can consistently force engages over and over. We even have the Lich Bane done now for Twisted Fate. So strength is certainly there. Voidlings are ripping the Ocean Drake to pieces, and if they're going to play more of this siege style with a bit of poke, 2 Ocean Drakes actually pretty good.
Is really good. And they can 1-3-1 and they have ways to poke down with the 3 and make sure that you don't engage on them. But they haven't really committed to a hard 1-3-1. And the thing is usually when you're 1-3-1ing and everybody has turrets up, you'll start seeing the 3 members that you leave in the mid lane just get really punished by 4 members and you try to get something on the side. But when your lanes are this long and there's only like tier 2 turrets up in 2 lanes, those people on the sides get to push so far forward that they actually could flank and come around the enemy team in the mid lane. So you really can't execute a counter to the 1-3-1 and you slowly get pieced apart.
It's actually a perfect environment for Twisted Fate. When you win early and push down and open up the map, Froggen can go anywhere he wants and then join his team in an instant if he needs to. So we saw last year that...
Like so.
Yep, exactly like so. Nice arrow from Cody's son, but it might not be enough. Barrett's ulti following in, and Arcadian unstoppable. Blows another away with the ulti.
Whew, just throwing out those ultis, getting kills there. 5-0 for the rookie.
Arcadian firing them.
Yeah, I mean, Echo Fox might be 0-1 right now, but Arcadian, this guy, he's somebody you have to keep your eye on.
Certainly looks like it. And like I was trying to say before Cody's son got destroyed by a collaboration of ultis, the Echo Fox were a very methodical team last year. They like to play slow, steady, and try and slowly grind their opponents away. It feels like that identity still exists here, particularly with a player like Froggen, who is, I think, very safe and is known for farming up and really overpowering his opponents over time. But I feel like they've injected a more proactive element with Arcadian, and even with Gate, honestly, with that flash ulti from Malzahar that they sorely needed last year. So it's great to see that, A, they're sticking to what their team identity was and can still play that way, but also aren't inflexible now. They kind of have a number of options that they didn't have last year.
Yeah, and it's great that they started to recognize what they should play to as well here, because they've been throwing out the CC when Acadian is there, and then he blows that up to whoever it is, but they still need to go that next step and think about what the enemy team is bad at, because this team, you could totally dive this Immortals team underneath the turret with a Maokai, right? But they have yet to even attempt that on a tier 2 turret yet. The closest thing we got was when it was top lane and they were sieging. Now they're trying to go for the slow and steady here, right? Nobody's walking up here, even though it's 3 tanks and you have your 2 people on the side. So they're 1-3-1ing right now and trying to go back and forth. So they're trying to play the macro game of go back and forth between mid and bot, but there's a way to accelerate the clock because they had really early kills, really early turrets, and it's 22 minutes in.
Belta's in. Oh, he does have cleanse, but he won't pop it. Instead, the ghost will be used by Froggen and he'll just move away for himself. Belta does have a decent amount of damage. Looks like Rapid Fire Cannon is the next item on the way, and the Sork Shoes add a good amount as well. But here's Froggen again, looking for mid lane, I have to think. Arrow Fire, but does not connect. Immortals trying to defend this turret. It's taken a decent amount of damage already, but Froggen actually just rejoins his team, trying to keep the siege going in mid lane.
Yep, like I said, methodical. This is very low risk, low reward, and they're doing it over and over again to eventually try and close the game out. But the problem is when you do that, Immortals, they can try to counter, make a bolder play when they have some items, and possibly turn the game around. And that's what we were seeing yesterday with Echo Fox, is the team fights. High risk eventually starts coming through, but the longer you wait, the more they have items, the more they have completed items, and they can actually make those plays work out for them with mechanical outplays.
And that's the thing, Immortals, they're very far behind in this game. Echo Fox has 6,000 gold ahead and on track to perfect game Immortals, which is never words I would have said last year. The thing is, though, you're right. They're not quite being proactive enough. We're starting to see them lull a bit as they move into the mid game, and that's a huge worry if they can't close out the game from this point. Immortals are kind of just doing what they have to do, which is sit on their hands and wait for an opportunity to come to them. I talked about Echo Fox having more proactivity than last year, but they'll need to show up, especially as they need to move together and play as that 5-man unit.
Yeah, we basically have the Echo Fox checklist of what they need to improve on. It's like early game. Oh, well, that's boom. They've got that. 3 first bloods for Acadian. Really great early game in all 3 of the games that we've seen so far. I would actually say, you know, I don't like to jump to conclusions after 1 game. 2, 3, that's where I'll be like, all right, let's go. So I definitely think Echo Fox have a lot of their early game troubles figured out. They rotated appropriately between bot, took down that turret, got top, got mid. Now it's this point right here where essentially in League of Legends, you do have to take some risk inevitably. Right? There is always a risk when you are facing your enemy, and Echo Fox don't seem to want to pull the trigger on that.
You know, Cody-san, he's used his Ashe ultimate to try for another pick. It's very low risk for Immortal, so it's smart for them to see them going for the plays, but that cooldown's gone for quite a while. Echo Fox should feel confident kind of moving towards an objective and looking to take it. Baron is available. Infernal Drake up in a minute as well. Maybe is where they're looking to, because it's kind of the obvious thing that they can take. At this point, Arcadian, who's got 3 damage items effectively, or 2.5, building in towards that 3rd, could comfortably solo that objective if he needed to. So around the 30-minute mark, I think we have to take a really good look at where the game is. If this is still the lead they have and they haven't pushed it any further, look for Immortals to maybe crawl their way back into the game.
And the Infernal Drake, like you said, 30 seconds on that, so it would be another advantage that's slowly but surely falling into Echo Fox's hands. And still seems like Froggen might have a little bit of control over the shot calling and where they go and how they play the map here. But Immortals are doing a good job of not falling to the 1-3-1, but then again, this doesn't seem to be a 1-3-1 that is really intent on absolutely destroying your turrets. And I want to talk about something here, because Froggen has a rapid fire cannon himself. It's to extend the range of his gold card. So when he goes in, he doesn't have to risk himself as much. This is really like low risk here for all of Echo Fox. Walks up, extra long range yellow cars. Like, how did that hit me? Usually, you're complaining about how long range that was in the first place. Rapid fire cannon on top of that gets a little bit ridiculous.
I like it. It's kind of a fun build there from Froggen. He's used the ulti for a bit of extra vision. Infernal Drake, though, over to that side, and there's a rapid fire cannon. Finds Pobelta, and Froggen, he's moving in for the kill. He's popped the ghost Pobelta. He has to flash over the Raptor wall and get a safety, but with Flame in the top lane actually looking for a turret, EchoFox can just plow through the middle section.
Yeah, and just for more context on that rapid fire cannon, it makes his range go from 525 to 675. So he actually gets almost a 700 range auto attack there. So he's almost Caitlyn range at that point.
It's actually over Caitlyn range for anyone playing at home, just for that one auto attack. But
yeah, that's right, that's right.
It was pretty great. Doesn't outrange Twitch ulti, unfortunately.
It sounds better if it's like it's more than Caitlyn range. So
Exactly.
I love it.
Can you imagine? You're a Caitlyn trying to shoot a Twist of Fate. He stuns you and you die. You're like, are you joking? I'd be so salty.
That's every 80 carry, man. I'm just saying. ADC 2K17.
Well, it looks like another turret got taken, but didn't push super hard for that advantage. And Immortals will take the top lane out of turret, so no perfect game this time around. A blemish on the record for EchoFox, but still in a hugely commanding position. Void Staff coming up now for Froggen, as he's got the blasting one, 2 items up to Keith, who's got quite a bit of gold to spend, actually, sitting at about 1,500.
But when you have a 6,000 gold lead, and it just stays that way for so long, the percentage of your opponent's gold is actually, it just gets lower over time, right? If you're thinking really early on, it's like I have 120% gold of my opponent. And you're like, oh, nope, now it's going down and down. Now we have 110%. So slowly it starts to mean less and less and less unless you start making that lead work and make it count and get more advantages off of it. Because EchoFox have had control, Baron on the table as well, but it just seems like they aren't trying to. That's the thing, is they don't seem to be flexing the fact that they have this gigantic tank in Maokai and Looper on the field. Like, they aren't diving, they aren't doing anything with this tank.
Ooh,
splitting.
Froggen
Trying to take him out.
Dardoch wants it. Good ulti as well, followed in, but no pick-off going to be there. I mean, the nice thing for Immortals is every time that happens, every time they almost get a pick, sure, it will be nice to get a kill on the board and collect some extra gold for yourself. But every time that happens, EchoFox, who are already a team that seem a little unwilling to pull the trigger, are just going to go back and reset the map for you. And that's just time you're buying. That's all Immortals need right now.
Exactly. Normally it'll take a team about 30 seconds to like reposition and like back and get all that stuff done. Maybe it's 40 for EchoFox, and that starts to matter.
Here comes Looper though. Gate wants something. Froggen looking for it as well, but Gate chucked out already. Ole! Snipes Gate. Support or combat will see Gate go down.
Yeah, they also got the TP out of Looper now, so Flame gets to split push the side wave. Fox have to find a way to kind of get his teleport out of him or try to match him with Froggen, but that becomes a risk. So now this might be a turret in the bottom lane for Flame to pick up. And like I've been saying, they're sitting on their hands right now. EchoFox are literally doing nothing right now. They're trying to like test. Like Immortals have this stalwart just defense that's stopping them. Just seems to be scared of everything. They're a little bit skittish on EchoFox's side.
And Flame, you know, he's taking another turret. He's getting gold for himself. We talked about the 3-item mark. He's 2 items in now, which is significantly better than it was 5-10 minutes ago here. He's going to start to 1v1 people out.
Yeah, and he was down 30, 40 CS the entire game. Now he's up. Or now he's, sorry, just down only 4 at this moment.
Back to even, which is great news for Flame, who's only going to get stronger and scale up as the game continues. EchoFox trying something here in mid lane, again looking to start another push and continue to compound some advantages. It seems like everything is in place for them to get it going and really open up the game, but much like last year, and this is maybe the one weakness that hasn't been covered just yet, despite the lead, they still don't quite know how to end the game, or they're just a little afraid to. And again, that's also something that takes time to fix.
It's like that meme with the, I never thought I'd get this far. I didn't know what to do. It's like when a dog catches a mail truck, right? Didn't think I'd get this far ever. I don't know what to do. But that's what EchoFox, that's what's been happening with them, is they don't seem to know what to do once they get this lead. Sure, they're getting those leads now, and that's great. That's one piece of the puzzle. But now we're looking at only a 4K gold advantage, which was 6 just moments ago. And now people have QSSs in their inventory with Dardoch and Cody Sun picking those up. So now it's even harder to try and make a play with Gate, who was making plays the other day on Thresh. Now Flash, Malzahar ulti, not going to be as effective for those picks.
No, it's not. And I mentioned that, you know, the 30-minute mark is what we want to check back in on the game. Well, we have arrived now. The 6,000 gold difference would have been fine if that's where it stayed. It's actually diminished, which is even worse news for EchoFox and Immortals. You can just see them, look, even the fact that they're here on the left side of the map, moving into EchoFox's territory, that's kind of the first time they've really been able to do that. I mean, flame taking turret certainly helps, but all of a sudden, the map almost feels like it's switched back around.
Yep, and the fact that there were some pings on the Baron there, like this might be what we want to go for soon. You can see Echo Fox actually are unsure. They're like, are they doing Baron right now? We don't know. But this is just more time for Flame to split push because Looper has to walk up here. And Gate just gets chunked out. That's so much damage. Olay is actually playing really well on this Misfortune. Ever since the laning phase where he was just poking people down, he's actually playing quite well on this champion.
And Looper doesn't have a teleport, so he cannot easily answer Flame split push. Immortals knowing this, with Flame also having TP, if he even needs to join in, he's just going to take a turret here. And this is very straightforward stuff for Fiora. And Echo Fox, despite the fact that they were the ones effectively split pushing before, Flame is absolutely in his element here on Fiora down in the bottom side. And Immortals even looking to take this turret as well.
Yeah, Ferris ulti was used on Pobelter and he cleansed it, so now Immortals are not as afraid of any type of engage here because that's the longest range one that they have on Echo Fox's side.
I mean, you gotta watch out for that rapid fire cannon. Old card.
All right, yeah, maybe. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's not as long range as Varus. You're safe there on that one. And you can see Froggen, he is looking for it here. He's got the Void stuff. He's like really strong on this Twisted Fate. Keith's not quite there for his third damage item.
But look at Flame. Flame is up at CS now. He's pushing the bottom lane. Dardoch has control of the Drake. This might be a Mountain Drake that falls into their hands. They have teleport. There goes Baron starting.
And this feels like a much more desperate Baron than maybe it needed to be, but Echo Fox are going to start it here. Flame's actually working on the inhibitor turrets again. Oh, some of it, he's already dead. Dardoch gets the kill down as Pobelter low, but doesn't drop. Ole getting chased down as Flame now going to TP his way in. Froggen cannons onto Dardoch. That should be a kill. He leaps out, but it's not enough. Arcadia collects another. Good for Pobelter. Almost gets it, but the combo isn't quite there. I don't know where Flame ended up. He wanted for the Baron fight,
Yeah.
and the rest of the team's now in mid lane.
It probably should have continued pushing.
Hey, you got blue buff.
It's kind of it's done with your stuff, Flames. Not enough of you.
Well, the Drake will go to Echo Fox. Kind of narrowly avoided a disaster there in that team fight, trading 1-for-1 only. Gate for Dardoch is a nice trade up for Echo Fox, and their fourth Drake of the game, now queuing the Elder Dragon to spawn as well. How late does this one have to go for Echo Fox to look for something? And that Baron call, that's the kind of the right idea, but the fact that it's 32, 33 minutes in, and that was a messy looking call, that's the worry, because at 25 minutes, that was actually a very good move.
Yeah, and it's only a 2.5k gold advantage now for Echo Fox, so this just keeps slipping further and further away from them, and frankly, Immortals are just catching up and starting to pass them in some of those lanes, whereas some people were like, oh, this game might be over because Echo Fox are doing so well early. Seems like Immortals, even though it's a new roster, they still have a lot of potential to actually cover up mistakes in the early game by stalling things out a bit.
And whoever's covering that defensive shot clunk for Immortals is showing a really good look here for the team, as we are kind of getting towards kind of one-fight territory. You can see Immortals going to hang out in a brush, maybe try and find a pick here. They've actually found Gate! They got to flash out, but Dardoch's in as well. Exhausted is not enough as they'll make the same trade they just did. Arcadian also kills Dardoch again for his 7th kill of the game.
Oh, Arcadian 7-0-0. Incredible performance from him so far. This rookie has been doing mad work. And now, considering he's up against somebody like Dardoch, who last year, rookie of the split, spring split, did an incredible job when he first broke out onto the scene. And Arcadian, I mean, it's not jump to conclusions, but he's doing damn well for a rookie. And there's only 3 rookies really in the running for rookie of the split.
This is the right Baron to try and do here. It's actually going down low. Ole gets a bit of vision, but that's going to be a smite away. Very nice from Echo Fox. Kill the jungle up, make the decisive play.
Yep, the fact that they had traded Gate for Dardoch and they did it twice.
Oh, I thought Frog wanted in. He actually just wants to know where Flame is. So.
Ah, gotcha. Yep, wanted to know exactly where he was hiding out there, which is good. Good use of the ultimate there. He hasn't been using it really to engage too often, but now that they have the Baron, they may be able to actually finally break the fact that they couldn't get those tier 2 turrets in both the mid and the bottom. And yesterday we did see them use the Baron buff quite well, so if Echo Fox are able to actually push this back, they might get themselves a nice gold lead again.
And this is the point where with Baron buff, given how open the map is already, you really do want to put yourself into either a win or a game-winning position. Baron almost always ends the game if you play it correctly. It might not end the game itself, like within the time you have the buff, but it usually sets you up for one more push where you're so far ahead and there's super minions streaming in there, you can gonna get things done. We know Echo Fox from a methodical team. We'll see how they approach with a very good buff for them.
It's definitely a buff that helps you close out the game. If you have an advantage, it helps even more. But now it's kind of allowed Echo Fox to start building up their advantage again. Looper, looks like he's coming straight down the mid lane. He's tanky enough that I'm pretty sure turrets tickle him at this point, so
I think
Turret laser's gone. Pretty sure inhibitor turrets, same thing.
And I like this a lot from Echo Fox. They've got the split push potential. TF Fault's almost back up. Lupus teleports back and ready, but they say, you know, we have the Baron buff. Let's not make this complicated.
Whoa,
Just
okay.
group up together.
Wow. Sorry, I got so surprised there. Pobelter actually got chunked to 1/3 of his HP off of, I believe, just a gold card.
Was it a blue one or a gold one?
I think it was a gold card.
That's impressive, because the gold ones do the least amount of damage, as it turns out. So you can see Froggen hitting pretty hard with those 4 damage items built up, and his turret should melt when he attacks him as well. You can see that one huge chunk. Spock's going to look to break the middle here. Ooh, Katie needs an arrow, but he's safe again. Froggen locks in another gold card. Immortals have to respond soon-ish. See if they want to fight for this turret or the inhib, or if they just want to give it up here.
Whew. Another gold card onto Pobelter there. Such long range. The rapid fire cannon when you're sieging helps you get those turret shots, helps you hit that turret, helps you pick off people with gold cards. Look at that. Look at that range.
Dardoch actually forced a QSS, and now Gates ulti back in play with his siege. Baron's still lasting quite a while longer. There's the turret down. Lupa into Ola. He's already down. They're going to look to take the inhib as well. Immortals not going to go for it. The inhibitor melts through all the Echo Fox damage.
This game has just been so passive between them, and finally it's exploded a little bit here, but it's just another single kill going over to Echo Fox. Put themselves back at a 5,000 gold advantage as they get that inhibitor and they push down the mid lane. So they made good use of the Baron once again.
Well, it is a good position, but not quite enough to walk in and close the game. They'll need a little bit more here, so they've got some Baron left. We'll see what they can get done with it, or if they maybe try and force something when the Elder Dragon comes up. We'll see what Echo Fox's next moves are, but Big Buys are finished. Keith's got a 3rd item. We have a Duskblade actually for Arcadian, which is kind of fun. So he's certainly outputting a lot of damage, and we've already seen how much work Froggen is doing with his damage items as well. So things are in a good position here. I like that Echo Fox are making the simple play to try and get this game together. I mean, sometimes in solo queue, all you really need is your team to group as 5 so you can win the game. Echo Fox kind of adopting that mentality here, and I think that's actually the right move.
Yep. Everybody gets a little bit on tilt where it's like, we just need to group, and then we'll be able to win. So just group, guys. Looper, no more 1-3-1, no more split pushing here. You'll lose the Lich Bane on the turret itself. You'll use the Maokai to dive the turret. No need to actually be away from each other. And now, Ole opens up again.
Oh, Lupa's in, he wants it. Arcadian blows into pieces. Legendary on that play as they're going to dive in. Gate locks up Pobelter with the ulti, and that's another kill. Ulti proc there from Flame, but Lupa still fighting in the other side. Lupa, can they extract him as Froggen? One auto, flashes in, card over, wild cards in, but Dardoch's QSS off the stun. Froggen just needs to chase him, but
what's he doing?
He gets out of the way, back towards his team. Gate goes down to Flame. Froggen, where did you go? There he is, back towards his teammates at Immortals. They fought their way out of the corner. Lupa's dead. Flame got a triple kill.
For another.
Gonna go for it here, Froggen.
Oh, he's
it's still good. The launch for the Quadra.
Quadra kill for Flame in his first game of the NALCS. Incredible turnaround there. That was just Dardoch buying time on the left side, and everybody dove in, and it just seemed to be complete mayhem from the side of Echo Fox. They lose another team fight. They fall into the Echo Fox trap. They did it again, and now Immortals are going to take the Elder Dragon.
And the Elder Dragon, not a huge buff for this team, but taking it away from Echo Fox, who have 4 Drakes to their name, is a huge win. It's tough to watch, but it just keeps happening.
All right. What the hell happened? Let's watch this again, because Looper goes in, they blow up Olay, they get Cody stun low, Gate goes in, they pick off Pobelter. You'd think this fight is over, but Flame used his ultimate on Looper, gets the kill there, pops the GA, goes in. Gate has nothing. He's actually just hurting now, and now he's in the middle of everybody. He's healing off the Ravenous Hydra. He's gonna go for the other Vital. He gets the cooldown on the Q. He's gonna go back in, gets the side Vital, gets the Vital on Looper, so he keeps healing himself, gets another Vital on that side. He understands Fiora so well. Every time you hit a left or bottom Vital, the next one will be on the top or the right, and he was playing to that side. When you watch that again, the way he's weaving around Gate, goes to the right of him, hits that Vital, then immediately goes to the left side, because it's going to be left or bottom 100%. Perfect play there from Flame.
And I'm giving Flame credit. I think that reverse was actually a bait, because he buffered through the gold card, managed to get the last lunge in for damage. So effective 1v4 for Flame. Not too bad for your opening game in North America. And we have a real close one all of a sudden. 40 minutes in, Elder Dragon burning away. It's even better now. Better, faster, stronger, longer, whatever you want to say.
It's quite the barn burner.
Baron's up in 55 seconds. And we're in a 1 team fight game, potentially.
Yeah, we are. We're in a singular team fight game here. And for Echo Fox, that is not good. It's not good for them because they have lost team fights. They've been winning skirmishes. Flame is now fed. Flame is 50 CS up. This guy was down 40. What happened?
And the map's opening up still. Immortals, 5 turrets, including a crucial mid-outer with super minions pushing into that lane.
Oh, this game started 6-0 for EchoFox with a 3-turret advantage to 0. And now gold is even 40 minutes in. They have 4 Drakes, but the Elder Dragon is on Immortals, and Baron is up at 20 seconds. The Elder Dragon, luckily for EchoFox, will fall off of Immortals around the time that Baron pops up. It'll be a few seconds of a window, like right in that time, where they don't overlap. So EchoFox may be able to fight it, but you can see GA for Froggen, they're just ready to fight. No more damage for him. He's actually sitting on a little bit less damage than you would expect from a Twisted Fate because he has the rapid fire cannon instead of a large like death cap, and he has a defensive item in the GA.
Well, they are going to have to pick a fight here, but do they go for a siege? Or do they look for the big objective in the Baron? By the looks of things, EchoFox going to place themselves in position, sweep out all that vision around the Baron area, maybe catch a lane. Froggen's found one.
Nice, out of position.
Oh, that range! Oh, they're going to get blown to pieces. Arcadian doesn't need the ulti that time, and now Froggen's in again. Oh my god, he's putting the team on his back. Froggen, so hungry to win this first game.
I mean, he wants it so badly. He's been with EchoFox the whole time. He has been the person that they have built the team around time and time again, and now they come back with 3 new members, and Froggen trying to carry.
5v4, but only support snipe on the Keith is good. Froggen trying to zone them out of the way. Froggen looks for Dardock. He knows he doesn't have the cleansing gate. Gonna go in for it. And pull the trigger for Flame. Straight in the middle. Takes out Gate and looking to make the damage happen. But Keith is gonna zone him out of the way. Just a 1-for-1 for now. Sorry, Dardock dead. 2-for-1. As EchoFox still up here. Flame barely gets himself out, but EchoFox had to pull off the objective.
Yeah, the fact that that was a 1-for-1 in the middle of a team fight that was 4-on-5, that's kind of a win there. But now Immortals have to go back. Flame does have teleport, so you expect him to use it here. Cody's son. Oh, nope.
Done. That's a hard force from EchoFox on the Baron.
It's really good that they had recognized that window where people have to back. Pobelter didn't have the time to back either. And the fact that Olay did get caught, doesn't matter that he has the strut and can move really quickly. They were able to chase him down. And, I mean, the fact that it's a movement speed build as well from Froggen. He has the rapid fire cannon on top of the fact that he has Ghost and he has a Lich Bane. Getting so much movement speed on this Twisted Fate, it's very hard to run away from this extra range.
And even rapid fire cannon for Arcadian actually, which is kind of cute. So all the sieges are kind of there. EchoFox have a lot of different things to play with if they do want to team fight a bit more safely, which is somewhat what the builds might be indicating. But as it turns out, 43 minutes in, Baron buff for EchoFox. They've got a mid inhibitor open if they want to take that and try and play it a bit slower, but as far as this buff is concerned, EchoFox have to be thinking, we have the buff, we should try and end the game.
Yeah, if you're not going to end the game off of having an advantage or having a Baron buff previously, or even getting a large advantage off that, finding a way to end it, then you're never going to end the game. So this is really the opportunity for them to just grab that, because Immortals do have a very good scaling composition for themselves. And Fiora still, there we go, full build now.
Still a one. Still a.
She had some room, but no.
And there's the inhibitor going down. Still a one-fight game, of course, don't forget. So EchoFox know that they can't be too reckless charging into the base, but it's not going to get much better at this stage of the game with the gold being even. Taking a major objective off the map is really one of the few ways you can get ahead at gold parity. So EchoFox need to force a little more. The mid-inhib's a good start. That's going to put pressure right down the center. They need to break another section and try and get in and force a fight, force a siege, get some more supers into the base, and of course the ultimate goal is take that Nexus.
Yeah, and the fact that they have that middle inhibitor down does help them a whole bunch, like you were saying, getting these objectives and pushing. But, oh my...
That's a roller coaster. That's the EchoFox branded roller coaster right there.
Oh no, EchoFox theme park with a roller coaster, and that's it. There's no loops in this,
Let me
man.
tell you,
Well, I guess there's a looper.
There's
still
many loops.
I got
It
you.
would be quite the ride, let me tell you.
It's an emotional roller coaster is what it is.
Certainly so. As we are seeing EchoFox prep for, I think, one last Baron-empowered push here. It looks like bottom lane is their chosen place of attack, but Pobelter cutting off the wave in top is nice and smart. Going to get some counter pushing going on the opposite side of the map. Immortals know they kind of need to just wait out the Baron buff, let the supers kind of come in, clean them out of the way, and then get back to a point where, again, they just need to win one team fight, and the game could end in their favor.
Yeah, and I will say on the opposite side for Immortals, it's actually quite interesting that they were able to stall and just sit around and wait for it, because Dardock, I mean, there have been times where they showed in like Breaking Point where it's like, I don't even want to play this game anymore. We're 0-8, we're down. Let's just go next game. It's best of 3, whatever. They're playing this one, and this is a best of series. Remember that. They still have more to play after this, but who gets the advantage off the first one? Flame with the flank.
I love the double flank here. Ole even getting in position for a smoothie tier MF ult. Gonna try and snipe people down. Echo Fox, though, they know. Not playing too carelessly. Froggen getting out rapid fire. Kane range back and ready to go. Looking for the gold card. He threatens every time he walks up to the turret. If no one's in range, they all back off. He hits the turret instead and chunks it down. Smart play overall for Echo Fox here in the siege, but they just need a little bit more to close this game out.
Up, there's the Varus ulti down. There's the arrow to return.
It's on Looper, though. He's pretty tanky, and the turret is going to go down, but Immortals might just pull the trigger on the team fight. Not yet. Baron buff drops off, though, so Echo Fox won't have that advantage.
Where's he going?
Look for the big play. Doesn't even have a Zonius, and there's the ulti out from Ole. Damages through Flame, getting zoned out on the other side. Froggen really wants to take down the carry. Is Arcadian! Snipes Cody's son. Dardock flips the QSS up again. Echo Fox up in the base, starting to break it down.
Arcadian with the forward play there. He is now 10-1 and 2. Absolutely insane on this Graves.
Pobelta's work from earlier, though. Look at the top lane minions. Echo Fox forced back Immortals despite losing a man, and an inhib there will extend the game. And that's pretty much been what they've had to do this game, but they've done it time and time again.
Extend the game. Oh, man. Something that was 6-0 at the start. The games just continue to be extended over and over again. Lucky for Echo Fox, though, this is the only lane they need to really shove to get that third inhibitor. This is the only one. If they're going to go through methodically, it's piece by piece. Take every little thing you can. People are 6 items. This goal advantage doesn't even matter anymore. It's getting insane.
It is, and Elder Dragon's up in under 2 minutes as well, so we have also that for Immortals to think about, and that's actually a great take on the bottom inhibitor for that exact reason. Didn't used to talk about Elder Dragon pressure back in the day when Froggen was destroying people in hour-long games on Anivia, but that's kind of the point we're at this juncture, and Echo Fox going to try and take that last inhib before they get there.
Yep, and Flame, 3 more CS, 2 more, and then he's Flame Horizon Looper for the first time.
He did it.
Flame 100 CS up after being camped. Just split pushing the whole time. Signature move.
You got the teleport, so if he needs to join the team, he can. But Echo Fox just trying to move their way in. Flame actually is a big nuisance here. We saw Pobelta do this on the top lane, getting waves pushing if he can. Supers, it's kind of hard to do, but just getting pressure down there really stops that forward momentum. Arrow lands in, hits Gate. The turret's down here. Ole commits the ultimate, but not that much damage. Gate gets chunked, but not too fussed really as Pobelta. Oh, he's dead. Arcadian with another snipe.
Arcadian doing work right now. As soon as the CC lands, all the abilities fly through. That's the third inning.
All right, Echo Fox, you don't have much more you can take. This is like, when we talk about game-winning positions, this is the basic one. But the supers are coming in. They've got a man advantage. Pobelta's dead for 50 seconds.
This is the point where, you take your hands off the keyboard. Usually, the minions will try to end it for you. So Echo Fox, whether they like it or not, they will try to win the game.
Oh, Froggen has to be careful. Flaming again. He wants to make the huge play. Froggen, he goes down. The GA's down. Flame! Still fighting out of it, but he is going to go down. GA's going to pop. Ole, though, firing out as Cody-san looking to defend Looper. A little 1v4 can't do it this time. There's a shutdown from Looper, and Nexus is getting so close.
Yeah, Froggen's so low, doesn't have the GA. Engage on Ole.
Looper's in, he's going to sacrifice the GA. Echo Fox just want to hit the Nexus, but they don't really have the help. Makes the big play, gets the reset, but goes down. Echo Fox with the Nexus open. They are going to take game 1.
Arcadian puts the team on his back, 12-1 in 4. The rookie coming up huge.
Look at that man, he's got bigger shoulders in and out of game. Woo! That was almost a 50-minute one. You said it earlier, Irene. What a barn burner for our opening in the series here.
Oh, quite the shellacker right there. Oh. Echo Fox, that's got to be a nail-biter too, though, because you had the advantage for so long in this game. It eventually got back to even, and it comes down to that shot calling. Echo Fox early game, we can check that box. It looks good for them. But mid-game, tier 2 turrets, inhibitor turrets, big problem right now for this team. Go ahead.
Before we talk about how we got there as well, let's just say that winning one game, that's great for Echo Fox. Momentum is such an important thing in League of Legends, and kind of breaking the curse of not being able to win these long games, showing that we can play together and finish a game. It wasn't pretty, but they won.
Yeah.
And that's good confidence kind of imbued in the members.
Yeah, exactly. And the fact that they won this game, it did take a long time. It's still a victory. It still puts them up because now they're going into a fresh new game, right, where they have to win it, but they come in with this game in the past, the fact that, they were ahead the entire time, that they can tell themselves, oh yeah, it's easy. We'll be able to get an advantage. We can win this. they actually just proved that they could win a game against Immortals, and Flame and Dardoch and all these guys that are incredibly talented and picked up. But it could be a 2-0.
It
Who
could.
knows?
It could, and we'll have to find out. But we are going to recap the rest of this game for you. Echo Fox, such a great early start. So let's actually watch some of their early game. We do have a replay here of their early plays around the 10-minute mark. This was so beautiful to watch.
Yeah, this was so good. This is the type of play that you would expect them to make on the bottom tier 2 afterwards, where they put 4 members in there to deal with the person who's trying to hold it. Flame just got punished, and KD, damn, that's such a good play from the rookie there. He is not afraid to just showboat. He is having so much fun, but he is also just carrying and doing a damn good job.
And we've seen so much style from this player. He's in every single game, despite 2 losses in the 3 that they've played already, has just shown up every game with the first bloods. Just he had a bit of fun with Inori as well when he was playing, kind of laughing after getting that first blood. Like, he's a kind of a cocky guy. We've seen that from early interviews as well, but it's fun to watch and it works.
And I gotta say, being cocky is not always a bad thing. When he has the ability to back it up like that, if they don't win the game, that's whatever, that's fine. But he's still showing that he is individually skilled, and as a career in League of Legends, if this is where he's starting right now in professional play, we're talking about year-long careers now. What happens with him in Echo Fox in the future? What happens after that, right? What happens with this guy's career? Because he looks like a bright and shining rookie so far.
And it feels like new pickups have been strong, but Flame, we had a Flame moment in that last game. Let's recap that quadra kill replay. This is where you looked at it and like, this cannot be happening against Echo Fox.
Flame moment. So 1v9, is that what this is?
Pretty much.
Good riposte there at the beginning. Ole, doesn't really hit too much, but he thins the wave out, and then Gate walks up, and this is just, everybody's getting picked off here. They're kind of, everybody's kind of like a soaker for the damage and the CC on the team. And Dardoch starts pulling Froggen away, lead him away from the Flame, so that he doesn't gang up on him. And meanwhile, on the other side, Froggen just trying to get out of there. Flame comes in, gets Gate with the counter kill. So good, plays to the left side, plays to the left side again. Now he's on the right, goes in there, gets the triple kill. So well played here. This is, like you said, it's covering options, right? Uses that, and he still has the Q. And Dardoch came back as well. So even if he didn't get that, maybe Dardoch picks him up there as well.
Really solid stuff there. But Flame, unfortunately, it was not enough to carry that game. Echo Fox, when he said they needed to find a big fight. We'll watch the final fight now as well and see how they finally did it at 48 minutes. It took a while, but they did get there.
Yeah, they did get there. Ole softens him up a little bit with the ultimate, but then they wait for the Black Cleaver stacks to fall off. They pick off Poe Belter. Another great CC chain there. Jungle mid synergy, we talk about it with people like Bjergsen, Svenskeren, and now Contracts and Jensen. Acadian Froggen. Looks like Acadian is a really strong part of this synergy, and that is a big boon for Echo Fox as they start to close this game out. And then Flame, he's just looking for the flank. He wants to kill the fed jungler, the person who's got 10 kills as they continue to push in. Gets one vital, gets the right vital, but then right here doesn't get the bottom vital when he comes back up, and doesn't get any more auto attacks off either. So right here, tries to go for Froggen, doesn't get the front vital either there. So just tiny bit off there on that Fiora. So unfortunate for him in that fight, but Echo Fox played it well and peeled at the right times and actually utilized their GAs too.
They remembered the last replay and didn't want it to happen again, as they were able to take the Nexus down and finish things off. Great coverage there at the end, I have to say, from Echo Fox, doing what they needed to do, taking down the Nexus, getting that much needed win, and fighting themselves potentially with a series win versus Immortals, which again, last year was not a realistic statement.
Right, and the fact that it was a 10th place team for Echo Fox, they definitely look better than a 10th place team right now with these pickups. So where is the limit for these guys? Where are they going to end up in the standings? Because this is really exciting for them, because a lot of people coming into this were like, oh, Immortals are just going to win this one, right? But no, it doesn't seem to be that simple.
It feels like they won a lot of single games, but can they win too? When we come back, we'll see if Immortals can answer Echo Fox's win. But before we do, we're going to hear from Jat and Azael and some of the top lane talent joining the NALCS.
Thanks, guys. Now, we're seeing plenty of new faces to the North American LCS, and where there's a lot of hype coming, I would say, is from the top lane. We had Someday come in, was probably the highest profile acquisition. There's 2 other Korean top laners in Flame and Looper that we're going to talk about, but let's start with Someday.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is just incredible, and he has been considered one of the very best top laners in the world, 2 years running, has been crushing it on Fiora, on Echo, and really on a plethora of champions.
Yeah, that's the thing about Someday is he can play so many different styles, and he always has a carry-type impact on the game. Even if he's on something like Maokai, he's been on bad teams, he's been on great teams, and he's been fairly consistent in his ability to play. The only thing you can hold against him is kind of the poor performance at the very end of last year when they didn't actually make it to Worlds.
Yeah, which was a disappointment, but going into that playoffs, he was considered one of the very best alongside Smev, and you can see in 2015 he was ranked in the top 20 players at Worlds. He's an LCK Summer Champion as well. He's incredible.
And there's some people that are putting him at the top of the best players in the North American LCS, even though he's never played here. Like, that just kind of speaks to the reputation he has coming in. Another guy who had a big reputation definitely a few years ago was Flame, but it's fallen off a little bit, and he's got some repairs to do.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, this is a guy who was considered perhaps the best player in the world in 2013 in top lane, but that's a long time ago, and he's been a sub recently for Longzhu. You know, last time he even played competitively was spring of last year, so he's trying to come to North America, rebuild that brand, and reestablish his dominance in the top lane.
Yeah, and his games have been a little bit hit or miss. The Flame Horizon that I'm sure a lot of people have heard of, because of Flame being 100 CS up on his opponent so often, because he was the first one to really understand how to manipulate minion waves. But like you said, he's got a lot to prove coming into this year.
He certainly does, but someone with a little bit less to prove is Looper. This guy is really still at the top of his game, and you know, he has his own sin skin. Come on, Jet.
Yeah, you win a world championship, you no longer have to prove things, but it's what have you done for me lately for a lot of these guys. And Looper had a decent showing at the World Championship, and he wants to make it back there. This is a huge acquisition here in the North American LCS. I think he's a super consistent player that will be able to succeed without Mata, but that's the big knock on him.
Yeah, so do I. I think he had an even better showing at MSI, where they were knocked out by SKT. But, I mean, he's the LPL Spring Champion, obviously got them there. He was top 20 players at Worlds this year, so definitely a very impressive player. And I'll be interested to see how he's going to fare when he doesn't have Mata and he is kind of out there on his own.
Exactly. A lot of people say there's lower competition in the top lane, but with all the imports, the competition just went way up. Anyway, that'll do it from here. We're really looking forward to seeing these top laners in game.